So it looks like the rumors were true when it comes to Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and this could lead to all of Nintendo's 2022 lineup being somewhat leaked there. Now, we've covered what happened with Kirby and the Forgotten Land not too long ago with the release date, and Kamaru actually nailed it because today Nintendo actually announced the release date for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and it's dropping on March 25th. Now, we're going to detail what this game is all about because actually this game looks absolutely incredible. So I want to get into that and into some of the leaks that could be true based off of the same source that gave us a March 25th release date for Kirby that we did cover on the channel. But before we get into any of that, what's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get our videos first. So a brand new trailer dropped on Twitter today for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and it's on YouTube as well, and it's into details. Plus we've got some screenshots, we got trailers, we got all sorts of stuff, or actually just the trailer. But yeah, it's actually interesting because this game features co-op as well, and then we'll tie all of this back into the lineup leaking for this year. This is very interesting stuff. So Kirby and the Forgotten Land will launch officially for the Nintendo Switch on March 25th, publisher Nintendo and developer HAL Laboratory announced. Here are the details via Nintendo. Join the powerful and cute hero Kirby as he gains new abilities in a 3D platforming adventure for the Nintendo Switch system that's filled with wilderness and Waddle Dees. If that sounds intriguing, take a deep breath because the game launches on March 25th. Kirby has a flair for inhaling air, so he'll have his work cut out for him when he arrives in an unknown land and discovers that Waddle Dees are being kidnapped in droves by the Beast Pack. To rescue Waddle Dees, Kirby heads out on an adventure with a curious elfin whom he meets in the new world. In this sweeping adventure, you'll make use of a range of Kirby's abilities to combat foes and navigate vibrant 3D environments. Progress through a world in which nature and past civilization have fused in a series of areas packed with platforming challenges. When you set out to free the Waddle Dees being held captive at the goal point at the end of each stage, you'll want to explore every nook and cranny to rescue as many Waddle Dees along the way too. Beast Pack will put up a challenge, so along with Kirby's iconic copy abilities, there are new additions to Kirby's repertoire. The Drill and Ranger copy abilities submerge into the ground with the Drill copy ability and attack enemies from below with a massive blow. Your foes will soon be seeing stars when Kirby unleashes the Ranger copy ability, which also lets you set your sights on a faraway enemy. Kirby can have a co-star on his adventure too. When you'd like to invite a friend or a family member along for the adventure, you can have a second player join the journey as Bandana Waddle Dee. He can launch a variety of attacks using his spear, quickly begin two-player co-op play, supports single-system multiplayer only, on the same system by sharing a Joy-Con, especially when you feel like driving home a point. Kirby and the Forgotten Land also introduces Waddle Dee Town, which will be the central hub of your adventure. The town will develop more and more based on the number of Waddle Dees you rescue as you progress. You will notice different shops opening and will be able to enjoy some of the townfolk's favorite games. Kirby can even help out in the Waddle Dee Cafe. You'll need to quickly prepare customers' orders to keep them satisfied and to aim for a high score. You'll also encounter Wise Waddle Dee in the Waddle Dee Town, who will pass along helpful hints. By connecting to the internet, you can learn details based on your global player data, such as the total number of Waddle Dees rescued around the world and the current most popular copy ability. Of course, you need a Nintendo Switch Online membership and Nintendo account required for these online features. Now you can stay up to date, of course, on the Kirby craze around the world. So, brand new trailer that's out, guys. It's looking extremely polished, really good. It even looks better from the first trailer that they showed. They showed some new locations. I'm loving what they're showing here with Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I'm just hoping that the actual challenge is there, that they have some good, stuff in there to kind of challenge yourself as a platformer, right? Because like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was just so good because not only was it expertly crafted like Kirby looks here, but it was also challenging as well. So I'm thinking that they're going to do that, make sure that you can find all different Waddle Dees and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to fighting against the Beast Pack and finding all the Waddle Dees in Kirby way back in the day, like 30 plus years ago, guys. Kirby was actually my favorite franchise before Pokemon dropped. Kirby was the game that I was playing that I really wanted to just love so much, and I really liked so much and thought that I'd be playing every single Kirby game 100% and thinking that it was just going to be the craziest thing. Of course, I fell out from Kirby, but I think that this is the game that brings me back to Kirby. Even though I've played all of the Kirby games for the most part, I just haven't been as impressed with Kirby, especially with Star Allies. But this game seems to be like what I would want from Kirby back 30 years ago or whatever it was, and I was thinking how it would transition to the N64 and all of that. This is what I was thinking that it would be. But more importantly here, let's talk about the release dates for Nintendo in 2022, because Komaro actually nailed this release date. Now, once again, I covered it not too long ago, and on Twitter, he stated this was back on January 4th, so more than a week ago, he nailed this release date, saying that looks like Kirby will come March 25th and Advance Wars is April 8th. There's also a couple minor games to be decided for the spring season. Fire Emblem Echoes should be released in the first half of 2022. So to me, if he got that date right there, which I guess wouldn't be extremely hard to predict just because of previous Kirby games and previous ways that Nintendo's kind of tried to fit a big game right before the end of the fiscal year. So you can't 100% say that everything here is correct because of this, but it definitely gives him a bit more credibility because he did get that right. From what I understand, nobody else guessed March 25th. Maybe there was some other places that rumored it March 25th, but this was the only place that I saw, or the only person that I saw that said that March 25th for this one. So yeah, we already know what the leak for April 8th, but I think once again, the Fire Emblem thing here is very key with this. Now, he also talked about some other stuff too with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which could be true, but I wanted to go over the initial plans because if this whole thing is connected, if he actually has some good information, Komaro here, then all of Nintendo's 2022 initial plans or lineup are going to be here, and like we know about those. So let's go over that. So we already know that Pokemon Legends Arceus, that game is coming out on January 28th, so that is confirmed. We already know that. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is now confirmed for March 25th, so that's good. Advance Wars was leaked already with the date April 8th. Seems like it's going to be it. Now, he also states that there is a casual IP that Nintendo has. We don't know what it is, but it's just a casual IP for 2022. Next up, Splatoon 3, we know about that, so there you go. After that is Fire Emblem Echoes. So a Fire Emblem Echoes line, and for those who don't know, Fire Emblem Echoes means that they go back into time and they remake one of the older Fire Emblem games, usually a game that's never been initially released in the US or in Europe. Now, the last one they did was Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia, which went back and told us of Alm and Celica's journey back from Fire Emblem Gaiden. So I think that maybe he's correct on this one. I think it might be time for a Fire Emblem Echoes game, and maybe Genealogy of the Holy War, which is the 4th game in the series that never got an official release here in the US or in Europe, although there is fan translation patches out there. Next up, Detective Pikachu. Ooh, Detective Pikachu. We haven't heard about that game in quite some time. So maybe Detective Pikachu makes a comeback here. After that, we have Zelda, Wind Waker HD, and Twilight Princess HD as well. We've talked about this multiple times. There's been leaks, rumors, whatever you want to call them, everything on these games coming out from big and small sources. So I do think that, yeah, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, I think those are happening. We just have to wait when. It's not like a if, it's just like a when those are announced and when that is happening. So we'll see about those. Mario plus Rabbids 2, Sparks of Hope, we know about that. So that's probably going to be coming out maybe summer or late fall, some type of area like that. After that, Bayonetta 3, we do know about that game. That's probably going to be more of a fall game as well. Metroid Prime. So Metroid Prime, this has been rumored that Metroid Prime Trilogy, that was like the first rumor, and then Emily Rogers reported that no, it's not Metroid Prime Trilogy, we're getting more of like a Metroid Prime remake or Metroid Prime really in-depth remaster. So they're going to take that original Metroid Prime game and they're going to soup it up, they're going to fix it up nice and pretty and then put it out there. So I'm not quite going remake just yet, and this whole remake, remaster thing, whatever it is, but it seems like they're just taking the game and they're going to greatly enhance the game itself. So they're just taking that original code and all that and just adding on top of it cleaning it up, making it look a lot better, fixing on some of the issues, load times with the doors, all stuff like that, adapting the controls, HD rumble, doing everything that maybe The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD got. That game got fixed up quite a bit from the Wii release. They doubled the frame rate on there. They did so many things to clean that game up, and it plays so much better now that you have options for motion controls and also button controls, in addition to fixing a lot of the things and just enhancing the gameplay experience. So I'm guessing that that's what Metroid Prime is going to be. It's going to take that original game and it's just going to fix it up really nice, improve the graphics. The frame rate's already 60, so make that even better, you know, whatever the case is there, and then fix the loading times and all of that. So I think that should be pretty good. So I'm hoping that we do get that. Now, another thing here is a new 2D Donkey Kong. This has been rumored that there was going to be a Donkey Kong. There was some talk whether it was going to be a 3D Donkey Kong game or a 2D Donkey Kong game. So it does look like maybe it's a new 2D Donkey Kong game. And to be honest, I would love that, because the last time that we got that was back in 2014. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since a new real Donkey Kong game. Even longer than Mario Kart. People talk about how long Mario Kart's been around. Donkey Kong, we haven't gotten anything from that even longer, because Donkey Kong came out before Mario Kart 8. So I do feel that, yes, Donkey Kong is long overdue, and I'd be hyped for a new slick playing Donkey Kong game. Bring it on. If that's coming out, I'd be very happy in 2022. Now we have Pokemon Let's Go sequels. Now I talked about a new Pokemon game on the channel, and I talked about maybe Generation 9, the next gen, but maybe they're going to go with the Let's Go games for this year. Then the next generation of Pokemon is the following year. That could be it here. So that would be like Let's Go Gold and Silver. That's what I'm guessing, that it's going to be Let's Go Gold and Silver, and we go back to the Johto region. And if that was the case, as long as they make it and they improve the gameplay to the point to where I can actually use button controls when I'm playing on like docked, that would be good. Because one of the biggest travesties with Pokemon Let's Go was the fact that when you play the game in portable mode, you can use button controls to do things, but when you play the game docked, you have to use motion controls. Now for a streamer, motion controls aren't necessarily the best based on your setup. Every time that I tried to play the game and I use motion controls, I'd accidentally hit my hand on the desk or something like that, and I had to really make sure that I didn't try to hit my hand and all this other stuff. So please give us the option to have button controls or just use a regular controller. It should be optional. That's my only issue with the Let's Go games. Outside of that, it's actually pretty cool. I mean, obviously, just catching Pokemon all day, that's not quite as fun as being able to have the normal battles and all of that, but it's Let's Go, right? So we'll see what additions and improvements they add to the formula. I'm hoping they make it more like Pokemon Gold and Silver, if that's the one that they're doing, and actually just make like a Let's Go-ified version of that, but still make it to where you can have the wild battles and you can do all that. I don't think they need to retain everything from what they did with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. So we'll see about that. Next up after this is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. So he's stating that that's going to drop this year. I'm guessing that's going to be more of a November release for a game like that. And last but definitely not least is the Monolith Soft project. So, whew, man, I can go on about this for quite some time. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to do or what's going to happen here, but Monolith Soft project, what is this? I actually made a video recently talking about this. I think I've talked about it almost every single week for like the past like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, discussing what Monolith Soft could do. So there are multiple options here. Could be a brand new IP, could be Xenoblade Chronicles 3, could be Xenoblade Chronicles X, or it could be a combination or two of those, maybe Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade Chronicles 3, or something else along the line, right? We just don't know at this point, but I'm hoping that if we do get this big Monolith Soft project, which I do think that we will, because there was information stating that it was supposed to be announced last year, but didn't get announced. So I'm guessing that Nintendo was deciding between Bayonetta 3 for the one more last thing and the Monolith Soft project, the Xenoblade or new IP or whatever it ends up being, right? And they picked Bayonetta 3. And I think that they picked that game and decided to say, we're going to hold off on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. We're going to hold off on this Monolith Soft project, and we're going to announce it at a different point. So I'm hoping that we do get a Nintendo Direct that's somewhat early in the time frame here, like we always get, like a spring Direct or so, maybe in March, maybe in April, maybe around that time that we get that. And then they talk about this, the one more thing is the Monolith Soft project, and I'm hoping that it just blows our mind. But it's Monolith Soft, and they always blow our mind with the game, so I think that it should be pretty good. Now, upon that, there are some other things that I do want to cover here. I mean, he does go over the whole Mario Kart situation. We have this whole Nintendo Kart versus Mario Kart thing that's going on Twitter, and people debating back and forth. But Kamaro actually talks about this back from December 18th. So this information is a bit older here, and he states that 2 to 3 years ago, the Nintendo Kart or Mario Kart project started, but it was just a racing game. And it was supposed to be around Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as an alternative, but not Mario Kart. But apparently things changed a little bit since the last time that he heard about it. So essentially what happened was the main idea was described like a Mario Kart cross Smash Brothers, with a big focus on online community and lots of weekly stuff to do and new races and karts and bikes and stuff like that, and ways to take down other racers. But the thing is, after the great sales of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe happened, and it's still selling really well, Nintendo decided to not release it on the Nintendo Switch and use it as a launch title for the next console as the new Mario Kart, even if the game wasn't supposed to be Mario Kart at the beginning. So I'm guessing that it would be a cross-gen. Now he says on the next system, I'm guessing that would be their big cross-gen game, almost like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, how that was a cross-gen game, or even like The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. That game originally was supposed to be GameCube, and then they pushed it all the way, then it came out on Wii first, and then it came out on GameCube later, but I'm guessing they would just launch it right there at the same time. So you have it on the regular Switch system, backwards compatible, then you also have it on the new Switch system with enhancements and upgrades. Therefore, you get all the new people in. Then it's also there for people on the regular Switch, so they can sell a ton of copies of the game while also pushing a new system, just like Breath of the Wild did. So I think that maybe that's the case there with that Mario Kart. And he also goes over quite a number of other things. He doubles down on The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess HD, and all of that, talking about how that's going to be 2022. He also discusses Pikmin as well, and that how the development of that game is still going on, but it's not going to be 2022 for Pikmin. So maybe we finally get Pikmin 4 next year in 2023 as well. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how all of this stuff plays out. But he did nail that March 25th release date. So we do have to maybe say that some of this other stuff is correct. But what are your thoughts on this, guys, when it comes to everything that we discussed here with the lineup? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.